That's a GG. The win streak comes to an end. I want to go over Friday. It's actually Sunday right now, but I want to go over Friday's trade. I didn't make the recap for it yet. As promised in the Discord, I want to give you guys the recap of the losing trade on Friday. So this was the day after Thanksgiving. This was Black Friday. We hopped on in the morning and we went to trade it. So what did we see in the setup? By the way, we're just going to jump straight into this. But I wanted to show you guys before I jump into the replay mode. This is Asia session right now. So market just opened for this new week. This is Sunday 5 p.m. right here. So you guys will see later that our draw on liquidity, our analysis was perfect. Just a little early on the entry. They saved it for today. We took our entry somewhere in here on Friday. This is Friday's recap. Our about a month win streak up over like 17,000 on the month. On Friday the win streak came to an end. So I'm gonna go over the losing trade to show you guys it's not always wins. Every single trade I take isn't always a win, right? So we've been on a huge win streak, yes, but does that mean every single trade is going to be a win? No. For example, Friday, loss. So let's go over Friday's loss. But as you can see, we took out all the LRL, which is, you'll see, this was the analysis going into the trade. This is what we wanted to happen. This is what we pretty much knew was going to happen. Not, you never know, but this was the analysis. So let's go back into replay mode. And let's go to Friday. So Friday, I'll go ahead and skip to like 10 a.m. So I wait for the new 9 a.m. 4-hour candle to open up every single day. But the trade was a little later in the day because there was no setup or gaps being formed until then. So you guys will see right here. So this was the new 4-hour candle at 9 a.m. Central. So 9 a.m. Central was right here at this candle. New 4-hour candle opened. What did we have? I'll show you guys exactly what we had. So we had we took out LRL, right? We took out all this LRL to the upside. Low resistance like trend line liquidity. We have in this case, we had a swing high, a lower swing high that didn't take out that swing high, another lower swing high, lower swing high, lower swing high. It's basically like low resistance liquidity is basically just like trend line liquidity, and you'll see that the market likes to take these out really fast. It's a very strong draw on liquidity, which you'll see ended up being our draw on liquidity for downside, which, as you guys saw at the beginning of the video, ended up dumping us. But yes, we had all this LRL. We took out all this LRL. What did that leave behind? It left out relative equal lows. So we had this swing low here. This was like the final swing low, which took us into like a daily for value gap. But you guys can see all this relative like stack liquidity. All these resting lows right here. A lot of people have stops below this area. So what do we want? We want market to come take that out. So that was kind of our draw on liquidity. We had all these stacked relative equal lows. On top of that, what else did we have? We had intraday LRL, right? So you drop down to the 1 minute chart here. What do you see? This same LRL example I just showed you, like for this upside move, you have it right here for this downside move. You have a swing low. You have swing low right here. Then you have another swing low that didn't take out this swing low. You have another swing low here that didn't take out this swing low. You have another swing low that didn't take out that swing low. And you have another swing low that didn't take out that swing low. So what you have here is trend line liquidity, low resistance liquidity, whatever you want to call it. So whenever you hear me say LRL, that's what that is. It's a very strong target. It's a very strong draw on liquidity for the market to come take that out. And usually whenever they take it out, it's a little bit tricky getting the entry on it because a lot of people will try to take this entry, and you guys will see how it's tricky because I actually took a loss on Friday, ending my win streak trying to catch this move through the LRL. Just a little impatient on it, but it looked very good. I really like the setup. You guys will see. So we had LRL here. We had relative equals resting below here. So the draw on liquidity for us was lower. So all we did was stay patient, wait for the new 4-hour candle to open at 9 a.m. Central, and wait for a bearish setup to take the shorts down into that area. So let's mark out this LRL low here. These are like our two kind of main TPs for the short, and then obviously the first internal low would have been TP1, which this losing trade from Friday actually ended up going 1-to-1 R pretty much instantly. But I didn't move stops to break even because I had bigger plans for the trade. So it went 1-to-1 R and then went back all the way to stop loss. So that's how I got stopped out. But yeah, we had all this LRL here. We had relative equals down there. Those were the targets for the trade. And then we had 5-minute chart. Boom. So we jump over to the 5-minute chart here. Let's play out a few candles. So you'll see price took out this high. Price took out this swing high of this big range, right? This is 10 a.m. So it should be, yeah, you'll see right here. Actually, I went a little too far. You'll see that price broke out of the top of the range, forming a 5-minute bullish gap. It was really small, it's kind of ugly, but we formed a 5-minute bullish gap. We inversed the 5-minute bullish gap and got a 5-minute CISD in the exact same candle. So this was kind of like our confirmation. Now what are we thinking? We're thinking, okay, price is ready, right? So what did price do? New 4-hour candle opened up. We had our draw on liquidity to the downside instead of the upside because that's just where it lined up. Obviously, never too strict on the daily bias. We are willing to switch our bias if we need to, but as of now, everything pointing for price dumping through these lows. So we form a bullish gap through the range. So we look at this as kind of like a big accumulation range here. So we get our PO3 as you guys see it on the live stream, see it in the Discord, all that stuff. Accumulation, then we manipulate the top of it right here. So we get accumulation, manipulation. In our last step, we're expecting distribution back down through our draw on liquidity. What do we tap into up here on this manipulation? ES tapped into this gap right here. This was the gap we were watching at this point on ES. So we had higher time frame confluence at the new 4-hour candle setting a top wick in that confluence. And we got our 5-minute IFG and CISD. So as of now, this thing's looking pretty beautiful. Like I said, I love this entry. I absolutely love this entry. The draw liquidity was clear. The entry model was clear. Everything was clear. Just the timing was a little off. Like I showed you guys, the huge dump ended up happening just now here on Sunday. So, but you guys will see. So we got the 5-minute closures, all the closures we needed, and then what happened? We closed way below. So what do I tell you guys in the Discord? By the way, if you guys aren't in the free Discord, make sure you guys join. I put the link to the free Discords in the bio. Also the link to apply for the one-on-one. If you want to work one-on-one with me, I have the link to apply for that. But I have a free premium Discord where I live stream my trades every single morning. So make sure you guys join into that so you guys can catch these trades live with me. But we closed way below the CIC, way below the IFG. So I said wait for the 1-minute retest. What did price do? Where was? Wait, I need to get. Sorry, people are calling me. Where was our? Oh, that's what it was. It was. I remember it now. It was literally right here. So. Yep. So this is what happened. Price ended up closing way below our zone. So I said, "All good, guys. We can just wait for a retest. We don't want to. In order for our stop. So this is what happened actually. In order for our stops to be where they needed to be. Sorry, excuse me, right there. In order for our stops to be where they needed to be, we needed to wait for price to retest back into this inverse area, back into this 1-minute gap here. That's what we waited for. So what happened was we finally ended up testing back into that gap after that a very strong initial rejection off that top area, which pretty much in our minds confirmed the move. Then we retested, and you guys can see price created this move up, this little structure here, and then price tested that gap. What do we want to do? We wanted to make sure. What happened right here? So price formed another low, right? So we went over this. You guys are in the Discord live call on Friday. You guys heard me talking about this. You want to be careful of price adding to this low resistance liquidity, which you guys will see it. This ended up happening. Price ended up adding to that low resistance liquidity. So initially we had this low resistance liquidity right here as our targets. Price ended up forming another low that didn't take out this low, which added to the LRL, which basically made more LRL, which is why today we absolutely slammed through it here on Sunday. But on Friday, unfortunately, it got the 5-minute CIC, got the 5-minute IFG, but then added to the LRL right here. So what I said in the live call was, at this retrace, this is fine for a move down, but you got to realize the possibility that the LRL is getting added to. But the entry model was still clean. We got the 1-minute retest to this gap. But the reason I didn't take it out of this gap was because I was like, okay, if they add to the LRL, there's possibilities we go for new highs here. So I waited for a close back below structure. We had this sideways range, this candle with no wick. We closed back below that. So basically a 1-minute CISD after testing the 1-minute retest. And this is where I signaled out the shorts in the Discord. We had stops above that high, was literally a 15 point stop, or if you wanted above the zone, it's a 20-point stop, which I'm pretty sure is what I had. Yeah, I had it above the zone for a 20-point stop. Also, it was above. We created a 5-minute bearish gap. You see, we have a 5-minute bearish gap here as well. The 20-point stop was right above that bearish gap. So pretty beautiful reentry, honestly. I really liked it. And you guys will see, like I said, the 20-point stop. I explained to them, guys, I'm going in with 3 micros. I'm going in with 3 micros. Why? Day after a bank holiday. It's Black Friday. So it was just overall wanted to be a low risk type of day. So you guys will see the 1-to-1 R was right here. And like I mentioned earlier, this was the interest in that. And look what happened. No drawdown at all. Instantly ran to that 1-to-1 R. See, it wicked this 1-to-1 R right there. But like I said, they ended up holding this LRL, tested new highs. So I know some people in the Discord said after this 1-to-1 R move, they got break even when it came back. They said they took TP at 1-to-1 R. It is what it is. I personally told them, guys, I have bigger visions for this trade. I at least want the accumulation lows, which would have been a 4R, and then those lows that I was talking about way down here was like all the relative equal stacked lows. I wanted those, which would have been a 6R, like 125 points. So that was kind of my vision for this trade. So I told them, guys, we hit 1-to-1 R, but I'm not moving my stops. I'm keeping them where they are. And you guys will see they ended up holding to this LRL, adding another LRL low. And then what happened? We hit the 1-to-1 R, instantly came back, inversed the bearish gap we created there. This is the point where a lot of people said they got break even. They just went ahead and got out. Like I said, I personally held it, and I ended up ending my win streak right here. They got stopped out, ended up creating a new high. But this same exact trade idea, what happened, right? So I got stopped out. It went 1-to-1 R instantly before stopping out. So decent looking trade there. They just unfortunately added to the LRL instead of breaking through the LRL. What do they do tonight, which is Sunday night? This trade's Friday's trade. What did they do tonight? They took out all this LRL, which I want to show you guys as well because the trade plan was absolutely beautiful. Beautiful trade plan. Just the timing was slightly off. So we took like a little like $120 loss, something like that. It was 3 micros, 20 points. So let's see. I mean, I'll keep the drawings on, but I want to show you guys, if I can, leave the replay. Yeah, boom. So look, this is priced right now here on Sunday. So Sunday opened way up here. Like the end of New York on Friday ended up doing this, creating 5-minute, 15-minute gaps. So what happened? They added to this LRL here, this accumulation zone, this LRL, they added, and this is where we caught the 1R, and then they added more. We caught the 1R, then got stopped out. What did they do then? They created 5-minute gaps through structure, which you can now look at that as more of like the manipulation of like this bigger. Now they added to the LRL, this was like a bigger accumulation range. They manipulated it, creating fair value gaps, which, bro, that's what you guys usually want to see, is whenever you see these, which we did see on a lower scale. There was a small 5-minute gap that we were looking at. Whenever you get these accumulation ranges, you want to see fair value gaps being created above them. That way you have something to inverse up there. So like this looks like a super strong breakout. A lot of people are trying to buy this breakout right here. What did they do today on Sunday? They ended up inversing it. So they actually inversed it way below right here. They inversed this 5-minute gap that sent us through this accumulation range. So this was accumulation manipulation. Then they inversed the 5-minute gap that sent us in the manipulation and got the 5-minute CISD right here. So this was like the early entry 5-minute CISD. This was the IFEG entry, which is way down here. We tested the 5-minute gap. You guys can see dumped all the way to our target. So what did price do? It wicked that target, starting to buyers trying to step in off that area, but the same targets, the same drawn liquidity from Friday ended up getting smacked. So like I said, it was a great loss, if that makes sense. Like you want to be a great loser in the market. This was a great trade at pretty much almost an A+ setup, besides maybe like as far as time or like the day. Like it was the day after a bank holiday, so maybe just the day was a little off. But beautiful entry there. And the actual trade plan ended up playing out. They just formed another 5-minute gap through highs, then inversed the next 5-minute gap, and that was the one that absolutely dumped us. I mean, what was this dump just now? This was literally like in the past 2 hours, because this is the 5-minute chart. So this is literally like the past 2 hours. This thing dumped like 200, 250 points to all that LRL, and then to all these relative equals, to the same drawn liquidity from Friday. So I just wanted to jump on here and make sure I show you guys my losses as well, obviously. So the win streak came to an end. Let's start another one back up. We'll be live on TikTok tonight, and then also in the Discord. Like I said, make sure you guys join the free Discord in the description. We'll be live in there on tomorrow morning, every single morning for New York session here there in the Discord. So it's going to be fun. Let's start this win streak back up. Small loss on Friday, but drawn liquidity was beautiful, as you guys can see. Sunday night, drawn liquidity ended up playing out. So overall, beautiful outlook on the market. And yeah, I'll see you guys. Make sure you guys drop a sub to the YouTube channel for more recaps, more videos like these, more educational videos. As always, you guys can comment any suggestions you have for videos, leave a like. But yeah, make sure you guys sub. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.